On December 21st, U.S. Vice President JD Vance delivered a sharp critique of America's extensive military assistance to Ukraine in its grinding war against Russia, questioning the wisdom and sustainability of pouring billions into a conflict far from U.S. shores. Vance strongly suggested that the Trump administration wouldn't continue the practice of shipping off endless money to Ukraine without clear strategic returns, signaling a dramatic pivot away from unconditional support for Kiev's defense efforts. JD Vance said, and I quote, "We help older Americans in retirement, including by ending taxes on Social Security. Because we believe in honoring your father and mother rather than shipping all of their money off to Ukraine." Unquote. Vance made these pointed remarks while speaking at a high-profile Turning Point event, a prominent conservative movement now led by the widow of Charlie Kirk following his untimely passing. Charlie Kirk was tragically and fatally shot in September in Utah, and throughout his life, he remained a consistent and vocal critic of America's massive financial aid packages flowing to Ukraine to counter Russian aggression on the battlefield. The late Kirk repeatedly claimed to his massive following that Crimea had always been historically part of Russia and would never realistically be returned to Ukrainian control, no matter the outcome of prolonged negotiations. He passionately preached to his devoted followers that precious U.S. taxpayer funds shouldn't be squandered against Russia in a protracted war that Kiev ultimately can't win through military means alone. During his emotionally charged speech at the event, Vance directly invoked Kirk's fiery rhetoric, urging the audience to truly honor his legacy by embracing and acting on the core values he championed throughout his influential career. JD Vance said, and I quote, "The best way to honor Charlie is that none of us here should be doing something after Charlie's death that he himself refused to do in life." Unquote. Vance has maintained a staunch anti-Ukraine aid stance ever since his tenure as a Republican U.S. Senator from Ohio, consistently arguing against escalating American involvement in the European conflict. Experts have pointed out how since his explosive public outburst back in February, Vance has also been deliberately kept out of sensitive peace talks to avoid derailing delicate diplomatic progress with his hardline positions. Vance's provocative statement came at a critical moment as the United States had just wrapped up intensive peace talks involving Russia and Ukraine in Miami on December 21st, marking a potential turning point in the stalemated war. Soon after these high-stakes talks concluded, a top aide to Vladimir Putin publicly slammed European efforts to insert major changes into the U.S.-drafted peace proposal, accusing Brussels of undermining the process. The U.S.-drafted proposal immediately raised serious concerns among observers that it appeared to favor more of Russia's maximalist wartime territorial demands, potentially at Ukraine's expense. Both Europe and Ukraine now deeply fear that the Trump administration could aggressively pressure Kiev into conceding far too much territory and sovereignty in a rushed deal unfavorable to their long-term security. Since then, their seasoned negotiators have held urgent meetings with Trump's envoys to forcefully add their own protective proposals and amendments directly into the evolving draft agreement. Russia has fired back, accusing Europe of deliberately scuttling the fragile talks by introducing additional conditions that will prove completely unacceptable and inflammatory to Moscow's core interests. Meanwhile, Ukraine and its European backers have passionately protested Russia's aggressive imperial-style land grab tactics even during these so-called peace talks, refusing to legitimize conquest through diplomacy.